The battlefield was silent now, a stark contrast to the chaos that had raged only hours before. Smoke curled lazily into the sky, carrying with it the metallic tang of burned machinery and scorched earth. Captain Alex Grant walked carefully among the debris, his boots crunching against the broken armor and shattered weapons scattered across the plain. Around him, his fellow soldiers tended to the wounded or inspected the remains of the alien war machines, their expressions a mix of exhaustion and relief. Humanity had won, but it had come at a cost. Alex felt the weight of that cost. He had seen too many friends fall, had watched as his squad was reduced to half its number. He had pushed himself harder than ever before, fighting with a precision and determination that came from desperation, from the drive to survive and protect those around him. And now, standing among the quiet ruins of the battlefield, he could almost feel the gravity of the reward being offered to him. A hovering vessel descended from the sky, its sleek metallic surface reflecting the harsh light of the twin suns above. It was unlike anything human technology had produced, alien, sophisticated, and undeniably powerful. The soldiers around, Alex stiffened, recognizing the ship as a vessel of the very empire they had just fought. But instead of fear, Alex felt a spark of curiosity. This was their reward, a symbol of their victory, and he intended to see it through. The ship landed without ceremony, its engines producing a low hum that vibrated through the ground. A ramp extended, and from it stepped a figure that made Alex stop in his tracks. She was tall, taller than any human woman he had ever seen, with a presence that seemed to command attention without a single word. Her skin was a soft shade of silver blue, and her eyes were like molten amber, glowing faintly in the dim light. Her hair was long, flowing, and dark, with streaks that shimmered in the sunlight like liquid metal. She carried herself with an elegance and pride that spoke of a warrior culture, yet there was an undeniable air of confinement about her, a subtle tension that hinted at her status. "This is Liara," an alien officer said, his voice formal and devoid of emotion. "She is to be given to you, Captain Alex Grant, as a reward for your service and success in battle. She belongs to the House of Saren, and she has been trained in combat, tactics, and diplomacy. Treat her as she is commanded." Alex blinked, uncertain. The word reward had a sharp edge to it. A human soldier being given a living being as a prize felt wrong, but he understood the context. In alien culture, this was a gesture of honor and status, not cruelty. Still, he had no intention of treating her as property. I will respect her," Alex said carefully. "She is not a weapon or an object. She is a person." The alien officer nodded, seemingly indifferent to Alex's objection, and gestured for Liara to come forward. She walked with measured steps, her gaze fixed on Alex, and for a moment neither of them spoke. It was a silent assessment, each studying the other, trying to understand what the other was thinking. Liara's eyes were sharp, analytical, and her expression was unreadable. "I am not yours," she said finally, her voice firm, melodic, and carrying a subtle edge of authority. "I do not belong to you. I follow only the orders given to me by the House of Saren. Do not mistake this for loyalty or obedience." Alex nodded, appreciating her honesty. "I understand. You don't have to follow me if you don't want to. I won't force you. I only expect respect in return." Liara's lips curved slightly, almost like a smirk, though her eyes remained cautious. "Respect is earned, human. We shall see if you are worthy of mine." From that moment, a strange dynamic formed between them. Alex led Liara to the temporary camp the humans had established. He provided her with food, water, and a place to rest, ensuring that she was comfortable, but he kept a careful distance, allowing her space to adjust. Liara, for her part, remained guarded, observing the humans with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. She was accustomed to hierarchy, to commands being followed without question, but here she was given a soldier who refused to dominate her. Days passed. Alex continued his duties, inspecting the aftermath of the battle and coordinating with his squad. Liara shadowed him at times, not out of obedience, but seemingly from interest. She asked questions, sharp and precise, about human tactics and decisions during the fight. She was intelligent far beyond what Alex expected. He began to realize that she could be an ally rather than just a burden. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Alex found himself training with Liara in a cleared area of the camp. She moved with fluid grace, her strikes precise and powerful, forcing Alex to match her skill with quick reflexes. He stumbled several times, but each time he recovered, driven by both pride and curiosity. "You have skill, human," Liara said, panting slightly, her amber eyes glinting in the fading light. "But your technique is crude. You rely on instinct more than strategy." "And you rely on instinct too much," Alex countered, ducking a swift kick aimed at his shoulder. "Strategy without adaptability is useless. You fight well, but can you think when the unexpected happens?" Liara paused, considering his words, and for the first time, there was a hint of admiration in her eyes. "Perhaps there is something to learn from you after all." Their training sessions became a routine, a way to bridge the gap between human and alien understanding. They sparred, discussed tactics, and slowly, a cautious respect began to grow. Alex never demanded loyalty, he earned it. And Liara, though still bound by her status, began to see him not as a master or owner, but as someone who could be trusted. It was during one of these sessions that the camp was alerted to movement in the distance. Alex squinted, recognizing the telltale signs of an approaching force. Shadows moved among the hills, alien soldiers, remnants of Liara's own people, likely sent to reclaim her. "Human," Liara said, her voice steady. "They have come for me. They will not negotiate. We must prepare." Alex felt a surge of protective instinct. "Then we fight together. If they want to take you, they'll have to get through me first." Liara studied him, her eyes narrowing. There was a challenge in her gaze, as if daring him to prove his words. "Very well," she said finally. "We shall see if your resolve is as strong as your words." That night they prepared. Alex coordinated with his squad, setting up defenses and planning ambushes, while Liara moved among the humans, demonstrating techniques that combined her alien agility with human weapons. It was an unusual sight, humans learning from an alien, and an alien fighting alongside humans. Yet, it worked. As dawn approached, the first wave of attackers appeared, moving swiftly and with precision. Alex and Liara led the defense, their combined tactics surprising the enemy. Liara's agility allowed her to strike with lethal accuracy, while Alex anticipated movements and directed the human soldiers to hold critical points. The battle was fierce. Alex saw soldiers fall, felt the sting of laser fire grazing his armor, yet he pressed on. Liara was a whirlwind of motion, her strikes calculated and efficient, and when she covered him from a side attack, he realized the depth of her skill and the bond forming between them. After hours of fighting, the alien attackers retreated, leaving the battlefield littered with debris and bodies. Both human and alien soldiers stood panting, surveying the aftermath. Alex turned to Liara, who was brushing dust from her armor, her expression calm yet intense. "You fought well," he said quietly, offering a hand. "You could have left, you know. You didn't have to help." Liara looked at his hand, then at his eyes. For a moment, there was no answer, only the soft hum of the wind through the ruined landscape. Finally, she spoke. "I stayed because I saw something in you, human. Not weakness, not cruelty, but strength tempered with fairness. You are different." Alex nodded, understanding the significance of her words. It was not a declaration of loyalty, but it was acknowledgement. Slowly, cautiously, they were beginning to bridge the gap between human and alien, learning from one another, respecting one another. As the sun rose fully, casting light over the battlefield, Alex knew this was only the beginning. There would be more challenges, more battles, more tests of character. But for the first time, he felt a spark of hope, not just for himself, but for the possibility of a new kind of partnership, one built on respect, understanding, and choice. Liara, for her part, felt something stir within her that she had not expected. The human before her, once merely a soldier, now showed qualities her own people often overlooked: courage, empathy, and an unwavering sense of honor. She did not yet trust him fully, but she was willing to see where this path would lead. And so, amidst the ruins of war and the fragile beginnings of understanding, their story began. One of unlikely alliance, mutual respect, and the slow unraveling of the barriers that had once separated two very different worlds. The battlefield was silent again, but in that silence a new journey had begun. The morning air was heavy with the smell of smoke and burnt metal. The battlefield from the previous day was now littered with debris, but the silence was deceptive. Far beyond the horizon, movement flickered, shadows of soldiers marching with a purpose. Alex had been right. Liara's own people were returning, stronger and more determined this time. Alex tightened the straps on his armor, checking the weapons he had prepared for himself and his squad. He glanced at Liara, who stood nearby, her eyes scanning the distant hills with a calm intensity that betrayed the warrior within her. She had not spoken much since the previous day's battle, but her presence alone conveyed readiness. "They are coming faster than I expected," Alex said quietly. "We'll have to use everything we've learned from yesterday if we want to hold them off." Liara's gaze met his. "Then we do not waste time with words. Strategy is what will save us, not debate. We will divide them, isolate their leaders, and disrupt their command. You follow my lead, human, and your people survive." Alex nodded, appreciating her directness. He knew her culture valued efficiency and results over sentiment. Yet her willingness to include him in the plan showed a growing respect. This was no longer a master and slave dynamic. It was a partnership, fragile but real. The first wave of attackers came just as the twin suns reached their peak. Their movements were coordinated, almost mechanical in precision. Alex and Liara had positioned the humans in a series of defensive points, using the terrain to their advantage. Liara darted between positions, demonstrating tactics that combined alien agility with human firepower. Alex found himself moving with her, coordinating flanking maneuvers, redirecting human forces to intercept the strongest attacks. Every decision he made was precise, calculated, and influenced by his observations of Liara's instincts. They worked in unison, their actions almost synchronized, as though they had been training together for months instead of days. During the heat of the battle, an alien commander broke through the defensive line, making a beeline for Liara. Alex saw the threat immediately. Without hesitation, he leapt in front of her, raising his shield to deflect a plasma strike aimed at her chest. The energy slammed into his armor, sending him staggering, but he held his ground. Liara's eyes widened for the briefest moment, then sharpened with focus. She moved faster than Alex had ever seen, spinning through the air to intercept the commander. Their combined efforts were devastating. Alex used brute strength and timing, while Liara struck with precision and agility. Within moments, the commander lay defeated, and the remaining soldiers hesitated, uncertain how to react against such coordinated skill. Alex breathed heavily, adrenaline coursing through his veins. He looked at Liara, who had landed gracefully, her amber eyes meeting his. For the first time, there was no defensiveness, no prideful challenge, only acknowledgement. "You saved my life," she said quietly. "You saved mine too," Alex replied, his voice calm but firm. We survived together, or not at all. The battle raged for hours. Each wave of attackers was met with the same coordinated defense. Liara's tactical mind, combined with human ingenuity, created a series of traps and counterattacks that frustrated the invaders. Alex marveled at her understanding of strategy, realizing that her people had trained her not just to fight, but to anticipate and manipulate outcomes with precision. By late afternoon, the tide began to turn. The alien forces were faltering, their attacks less coordinated as they lost commanders and key fighters. Alex and Liara moved through the battlefield like a single entity, directing human forces, striking where necessary, and ensuring that no soldier was left vulnerable. Eventually, the attackers retreated. Exhausted and battered, Alex watched as the remaining aliens withdrew over the horizon. He turned to Liara, who was observing the retreating forces with a thoughtful expression. "They will come again," she said, And next time they may not hesitate to destroy everything in their path to reclaim me." Alex shook his head. "Then we'll be ready. Whatever comes, we face it together." Liara's gaze softened slightly, an expression that Alex recognized as rare from her people, a gesture of trust. "Perhaps you are not like the others," she said quietly. "Your people, your strength, your choices, they are different." The following days were filled with rebuilding, training, and preparation. Alex and Liara continued their joint exercises, refining strategies and learning each other's strengths. They shared meals, stories, and quiet conversations under the twin suns, discovering common ground despite their vastly different backgrounds. Liara spoke of her homeworld, its harsh landscapes, and the rigid codes of honor her people followed. Alex shared tales of humanity's history, its struggles, its triumphs, and its relentless drive to survive and adapt. As time passed, the tension between them eased. Liara's sharp tongue and piercing gaze became less intimidating, replaced by moments of camaraderie and mutual respect. Alex found himself admiring her intellect and determination, while Liara, though reluctant to admit it, began to see humanity's potential, the courage, morality, and ingenuity that set them apart from the rigid, hierarchical thinking of her own people. One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the camp, Liara approached Alex. She had been silent for some time, her expression unreadable. "Human," she said, "you have proven your worth, not only in battle but in your character. You do not seek to control me, yet you have inspired loyalty. That is uncommon among your kind." Alex smiled, feeling a warmth that had little to do with the sun. "I never wanted to control you. I wanted to understand you, to respect you. And I see now that respect can be stronger than fear or dominance." Liara's amber eyes glimmered. "Perhaps there is more to your species than I understood. Perhaps humans are capable of more than survival. Perhaps you can teach me what freedom truly means." Her words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Alex realized that the relationship between them had shifted completely. Liara was no longer a prize, no longer a symbol of reward. She was a companion, a strategist, a warrior who had earned his respect, and he hers. The next challenge came sooner than expected. Scouts reported another force moving toward the camp, this one larger and better armed. Alex and Liara immediately began planning, analyzing the terrain and positioning the human soldiers strategically. This battle would be decisive. It would test not only their skills but the strength of the bond they had formed. When the alien army arrived, the humans were ready. Traps were laid, ambushes set, and defensive positions reinforced. Alex and Liara moved together, coordinating attacks, predicting enemy movements, and adjusting strategies in real time. The alien soldiers, confident from their previous success, were caught off guard by the humans' preparedness and the seamless cooperation between Alex and Liara. The fight was intense. Energy blasts and laser fire cut through the air, and the ground shook under the impact of heavy weaponry. Human soldiers moved with precision, following the commands of a captain who had learned to integrate alien tactics with human ingenuity. Liara was everywhere at once, her strikes deadly, her awareness unparalleled. At a critical moment, a massive explosion threw Alex to the ground. Dust and debris filled the air, and he struggled to regain his bearings. From the smoke, he saw Liara charging toward a group of elite alien warriors. Without hesitation, he rose and moved to support her. Together, they fought side by side, each covering the other's weaknesses, each amplifying the other's strengths. Finally, after hours of relentless combat, the alien forces broke. Their commanders were defeated, their soldiers scattered, and the battlefield fell silent once more. Alex and Liara stood among the ruins, breathing heavily, their bodies exhausted but their spirits unbroken. Liara turned to Alex, her expression softer than he had ever seen. "You have proven yourself, human. Not through force, but through courage, honor, and the choices you make. You have earned my respect and my trust." Alex felt a surge of emotion. "And you have earned mine, Liara. Not as a reward, not as a prize, but as a partner. I would not ask for anything more than that." For the first time, Liara smiled genuinely, a rare and beautiful gesture among her people. "Then we face the future together," she said. "Not as master and slave, but as equals, allies, and friends." As the twin suns set, casting golden light across the battlefield, Alex realized that humanity's strength was not just in its technology or its courage, but in its ability to inspire loyalty, trust, and partnership even across species. Liara, once given as a reward, was now a testament to what respect, understanding, and moral strength could achieve. The war was not over, and challenges would come again. But Alex and Liara had proven that humanity could rise above fear and prejudice, that true strength lay in choice, loyalty, and respect. And together, they would face whatever came next, side by side, as equals. In that moment, amidst the ruins and the silence, a new chapter began. Not just for Alex and Liara, but for humanity itself. A chapter defined not by conquest, but by courage, honor, and the power to inspire change in even the most hardened hearts.